Salutations. Welcome back, friends. If you're watching this, then the embargo has once again been lifted, and I can share with you my experience playing the new December patch for Bloodhunt. And I've compiled all my thoughts, both the good and bad, and give you everything you need to know and what you can expect for this patch. So there's a lot to get through. Let's just get right into this. So after an extremely large drought when it comes to actual new content for the game, this is the biggest update the team have released so far. There's a lot to go over here. The most noticeable change to the game has to be the inclusion of the previously data mined Ventrue Warden. This archetype shares the clan ability of the Enforcer with the Flesh of Marble, while its archetype ability, known as Shackles, sees you anchor an enemy player with a visual tether, which when you exceed the range of 15 meters, you take a big hit of 50 damage. This ability can be countered if you're also playing Ventrue and use Flesh of Marble to break out of the 15 meter range and take no damage. Sadly, the Nosferatu when shackled can still easily be seen when they use Vanish, due to the tether pointing exactly where they are. Hopefully this is something that gets changed, unless it was actually an intentional counter. We didn't actually get a definitive answer on that one. The Warden's passive ability, which I think is probably the most powerful, sees you gaining an armor plate from feeding. If you feed on a mortal or Diablo-Eye player, not only will you get all of your hit points back, but also an armor plate too for good measure. This means playing a more tanky role as this guy is probably the way to go, as they do not have any type of movement ability to get you out when you're in a pinch. You'll need to be able to outplay your opponent with gun skill or take advantage of melee to put the panic on a shackled player.
Oh, hello. I see you, Motion. I know that bounce.
You recognize his movement pattern?
Yeah.
God, on another level.
Good show, I'm running up, yeah?
Yep, you?
Just reloading. Oh, my kills got up.
Damn you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, was that you, Kava? No, you should follow up on your kills.
Oh, what?
Yes.
How did you not take damage from my thing?
I did a little.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Motion, I had to add it. I personally didn't like this archetype that much because it doesn't suit my playstyle. I main the Brute from the Bruja, so I'm all about like flying through the air, and I like my escape options basically, and I felt like this archetype is very much you're in the fight. I think it would be a very good support class, but I probably wouldn't play this class in solos. Just I'd like to have more options personally. But if you're a Ventrue main already and you main the Enforcer, then I mean, for nothing else but a bit of variety in your clan and variety to the game, because Lord knows we've needed it. Last one to press subscribe to Rotten Egg. Next big change, we finally have some changes to Prague itself. Sadly, I only managed to score footage of the new graveyard area, which is just east of the University Gardens, and it has tons of new cover to play around in, instead of that big tent thing that was there previously. I guess that was just a placeholder, as now there's plenty of reasons to duke it out there and find your loot. I've been told that there's also some market stalls around the Prince Haven Square, removing the large open sniper bay area that it was before. There are some rooftop changes and also a party boat. Again, sadly, I didn't manage to see them during the test, but I'm excited to jump in when the patch is available for everyone and see it all for myself. Then we have a new 100 tier battle pass called the Nemesis Pass. This is another completely free battle pass, so we will all have something to grind for when we get on after the patch launches, and it won't cost you any of your hard-earned pesos. There are some brilliant emotes in here and some weird masks and cool costumes, and it's really awesome that it's free. I'm just sad that we don't have any long hairstyles still. Maybe one day my vampire will be able to cosplay as Sephiroth for katana only runs. A new weapon has been added to the game also, and you're not going to want to hear this. So brace yourself, okay? Brace yourself. It's another melee weapon. I know, trust me. I know! Calm down, chill. What's your language? But without trying to add sugar to a shit sandwich, it was actually surprisingly fun to use. They're the dual daggers, with not such a high damage output but extremely quick attack speed. But the real fun comes in the way of the alternate attack, which has you throw one of the knives, which, when it connects, deals some initial damage and then does poison damage over time. The green misty visual is really satisfying and is a pretty unique melee weapon when compared to the others. Also, the aerial attack animation is stylish as and I can't wait to get some epic clips of using Soaring Leap to catch someone who's one-shot mid-air. Me and Kavanchi ended a solos game with a right-click only fight in the last zone.
You'd have to go and dog the right people first. I definitely think her...
Spoiler alert, she won. And I will be salty until we get some new ranged weapons, but speaking with the devs during the test, there are things being worked on which sadly they couldn't share to us, but I'm at least happy that something is coming. When? Who knows at this point. Press the like button. We also got some changes to the user interface in the game, which should allow everyone to easily navigate the menu without confusion, and controller players can now use the D-pad to avoid previous frustrations. In-game, the inventory screen has seen a bit of a makeover, and now clearly states your current resonance buffs, how much of each type of ammo you have, your primary, secondary, and melee weapons. This looks far more sleek than before in my opinion, and it should be really easy to read for everyone, so that's a W right there. There will now also be new weather effects in the game. Each match is going to feel slightly different with a new lighting rig, which makes everything a lot more visible. We were told there will be thunder and lightning storms too, but sadly we couldn't get any footage of that. This is a great change in my opinion, because a lot of the darker skins that people use in Bloodhunt, and when you're trying to track them with all of the other visual noise that's going on, they do seem to get lost on the screen a little bit, and it's quite frustrating. So your tracking should improve. I think this is about as light as the map is going to get without it being actual sunlight, and I mean we can't have that, can we? Because, you know, vampires, skin, sun. So don't expect a Hawaii map anytime soon, let's put it that way. Alright, some performance stuff. Here we go again. But we're mentioning it again because the problem is still there. The traversal bugs and glitchy shuddering movements. There have been some improvements to the game with this patch, to the player's interaction with a ledge or object in general, to make it smoother and less likely for the shudders to occur. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. While I do feel the game was a lot smoother and these were less frequent, they still happen on certain geo at certain angles when trying to mantle. This has plagued my experience of the game since day one in early access. With each patch, we crawl a little bit closer to a more optimized state, but there's still clearly work to be done to make this issue so relevant that I don't mention it in every single one of my Bloodhunt impressions videos. The frame drops when using heightened sense are still happening too, and for reference, I'm running a 5950X and a 3090 Ti, so it's certainly not on my side that this is a problem. I'd like to see all these systems working seamlessly in future, but at the moment we just aren't quite there yet. Next is the slightly sad news, which you probably already know by now, that the Bloodhunt team is being condensed. So there are a fair amount of devs that have gone on to do other projects, and we are left with what they're calling the CVC, the Core Vampire Crew. This news might not actually come as a surprise to the community, as we all damn well know the numbers aren't where they need to be right now. But this isn't completely sour milk, as a smaller but more focused team working on the game means that a strong vision can be realized easier, and decisions on where the game goes from here can be made without too many opposing inputs. We as a community need to continue to use the surveys to give valuable feedback when we can about what is fun and not so fun about the game. There are no current plans to discontinue the Bloodhunt project, so relax, and the devs ensure us that the updates will be continuing through 2023 into 2024, at least 2023. Yeah, let's see where we are after that. I think that's about it for the main parts of this patch. There are other bug fixes and smaller things which will be in the patch notes if you're interested, but now it's time to share my honest thoughts about the game after trying out this updated build. Back when we came out of early access, I was really excited with the trajectory the game was going in. We had behind the scenes dev interviews and announcements live on Twitch. The marketing for the game was pulling in players from all over, and it was so exciting to get caught up in it all. And to have the chance to be an ambassador for the game and make content that I loved making. But since all the problems with the game-breaking bugs, performance issues, the controller support problems, the desync, unbalanced weapons, not to mention a huge lack of new content to the game excluding vanity items, Bloodhunt just seemed to be cast away by a lot of people who moved on to other games, or just didn't want to play the game in the state it was in. And I can't really blame them, but we have had a lot of improvements since then, and this patch feels like what the first patch after launch should have been. A brand new vampire, new areas of the map, new weapons, you know, like exciting stuff. But instead we've had to basically play catch up with getting the game running to an anywhere near competitive state. And I really hope that with this update, it marks the dawn of a new year and a new beginning for the game, so that we can see more content like this coming in the future updates, to expand the game beyond what we have right now. We have basically just been playing the one quite small map with a handful of weapons for months and months now, and it's certainly time to turn it up to 11 and get genuinely excited for the game again. Taking part in this test was so fun, and I had a smile on my face the whole time while leaping about the map looking for new things and Easter eggs that the devs may have snuck in. Elysium now supports metalheads, for example.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna leave
go.
I'm gonna leave here now.
Yeah, we're going full metalhead in here.
And having the ambassadors and the devs all getting into the same matches, it just makes me crave private custom lobbies so much. It's a great way of testing your skill against some of the best Bloodhunt players, and I think it would benefit the community also. And it's also a great way of knowing that there's no scumbag cheaters in your lobby too. I say all of this only wanting Bloodhunt to be the best that it can be. Anyone who's truly gotten into the game knows that there isn't anything out there on the market that compares to the movement and feel of Bloodhunt. It's such a shame that the launch and bugs killed a lot of people's interest in the game, but I do recommend anyone who's taken a break from the game or uninstalled it to get back on and grind out this new free battle pass, get some kill credits around the new areas of the map, try the new archetype and see how it feels now, because genuinely it feels like what a battle royale update should be. I just wish we had a new gun or two. So there we have it, guys, an early look at this new patch in action and my take on the game as it stands. I want to say a big thank you to Sharkmob for letting us come back and play that, and for playing some matches with us in your QA team. It was really fun. I hope we can do it again, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you know what to do with that like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button, and subscribe with the bell on so you don't miss any future videos like this, exclusives, you know what I mean? Until next time, I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Thanks, guys. Also, before I go, you could probably just click one of these. Yeah? Click one of those.